Ready? All right, welcome back, everybody. Week two, meet me at the coffee pot. As always, Carlos here, Mr. Dub there. So let's just get right into it. Last week, I did all right. I thought I was gonna do better, but I'm still above 500, so I'm happy. So I went 9-7 with a push. I was thinking like pushes is gonna be kind of complicated. Let's just you want to get rid of them. You want to keep them in there.
Yeah, last year Vince and I just did straight winning percentage, and so it wouldn't factor into that anyway. So we just didn't end up counting them at all.
Yeah, that's what I was going for too. So I'll say 9-7, and I hit my lock, which kind of kept me on the positive side.
Which was your lock?
Last week my lock was I had Bears at Rams. I took Rams -7 and a
Oh,
half.
that's right. That's right.
So
So I went 8-8, and as is tradition, I missed my lock. So I went on and on about how the Ravens have killed every team in the first game for like the last 5 years. So sorry, Ravens fans, that I got you to lose that game. Even though the Raiders did absolutely everything they could to keep the Ravens in the game and hand them the game, and I kept being like, "It's over," and then I was like, "There's still a chance," and then I was like, "It's over," and they eventually went up going down. So I went 8-8, and yeah, I'm trying to get over 500 this weekend.
Hey,
Feeling good.
did you watch the Manning Monday
I
broadcast?
did.
Did you like it? Were you a fan?
I liked it.
Dude, I was sold from like right from the beginning, man. I thought they did a great job, and all the guests were awesome. And Russell Wilson, I'm gonna say he stole the show, but he was really good on there.
Yeah, it was good. And like I was telling Jamie, it's not like the Monday night broadcast crew has a voice that like I just got to hear. You know what I mean? Like I don't tune like there's some announcers I really like, but it's like I'm not missing anybody on the main feed. So yeah, I liked it. I thought, but I will say that and you texted me or the group chat about how the broadcast was going, and I was like, I totally forgot about it. So I don't know if I just missed it or if they didn't promote it enough because I heard a lot of people who were like, oh yeah, I heard about that, and I kind of snuck up on me.
Yeah, I was curious. I was like, I want to know how many viewers they did compared to like regular Monday night, which is kind of cheating because it was also like on ABC, so you didn't need
Yeah,
to watch it. But they did like 800,000 viewers, and then Monday night, but like in total, I think did like 24 million or something crazy like that.
it is
The
crazy that
game
they put that
factored
game
in,
on 3 channels.
yeah.
It
So, but I don't know. I
was
enjoyed
a
it.
good game,
I'm
so
looking.
they nailed it.
Yep, for sure. Alrighty, so let's get into it. Today is Thursday. Tonight we do have a game. We have Giants at Washington. Washington is favored -3.5 right now. I think Giants are a bust. I had high hopes for them last week. They let me down. So until further notice, I am not a Giants fan. Washington, I think they seem to be doing well. I'm going to take Washington at -3.5. I have them winning 10-24.
I like Washington to win this game too, but Ryan Fitzpatrick's hurt. He hurt his hip last weekend. Taylor Heineke, who I actually like, famous XFL fame, who
Yeah,
I think is awesome, man. There's that video of him winning the XFL playoff game, and he's like chugging a beer in the locker room. He's cool, and I think he'll lead them to victory. But I think um, it's only his third start in the NFL, so I think it's going to take a while to get going. I think Saquon Barkley, they're going to really try to establish Saquon Barkley, who did not have a great week last week. I think they're going to keep it close. So I have Washington football team 20, Giants 17, but I'm taking the Giants plus 3.5 for tonight.
yeah. Saquon was a total letdown last week. I couldn't believe that, but
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be desperate to get home going. So we'll see. We'll see what they can do. That game kicks off in about a half hour.
yep.
All right, so Rams are at the Colts. The Colts let me down. I took them as an outright underdog winner last week against the Seahawks, and Russell Wilson came in and just lit them up. So it was a bit disappointing to see. I thought the Colts defense was going to be up to the challenge, but they weren't. The Rams looked really good.
Really
Bears
good.
aren't the best team in the world, but the Rams looked really good, and I think they'll be able to score enough to cover the spread. There's Rams -4 in this game, and I have the Rams winning in Indianapolis. Rams 30, Colts 20.
Yeah, we're on the same boat in that one. I got Rams -4. I think the Rams defense played awesome last week, as they should, right? Um, so it's gonna be they're gonna be a scary team over there. So I got the
Mhm.
Rams. covering kind of by a good amount. So I got Rams 28, Colts 17. Still give the Colts a little bit of respect, but the Rams team does look nice.
And I gotta say, man, from all the Colts fans listeners, I know we have some. It's like I'm cheering for them, but starting out the year 0-2 is making me a little nervous. But they got a big challenge this weekend. They got to step up, but I think the Rams will take it.
Yep, I agree. Alrighty. So next I got Cincy at Chicago. Oh man, I think Cincinnati was kind of the shocker of last week a little bit too, right? They took out a very good Vikings team, 27-24. So I'm kind of looking to have them keep that momentum going. I have the Bengals at +3. So if you're going to give me points with Cincinnati right now, I think I'll take it. So I got Cincinnati winning in a very close game with Chicago. I got them beating them 26-24. But it's yet to be seen. Maybe Chicago puts in Fields this week, and who knows? But until they do,
I think they probably should.
I got it. Yeah, I think they should too. But
I was a little surprised when I saw this line that, like you said, that they were giving the Bengals points. I thought, if anything, it might be a point or two the other way. So I totally agree with you. Bengals +3. I have Bengals 27, Bears 21.
pretty close on that one.
Now, this next game's tough because if you watch last season, I hate a big line. I hate a big line because I'm like, anytime you're giving an NFL team like 13, 14 points, I'm like, I'm taking the underdog, and it pretty much burned me every time last year. This game, I didn't look at the line. I did not look at see what the line was before I picked the game, and then I just let it fall as it will. So I actually have the Browns. We're talking about Browns Texans in Cleveland, and I have the Browns winning 30-17, just covering the spread. And I'm taking the Browns -12.5. I don't reluctantly I'm doing it. I don't really like to take such a big line. And, the Texans actually stepped up last week. Now, I don't know that Jacksonville is that much of a worthy opponent, but they did what they had to do to win their game last week. So you got to give them credit there. But I think even though the Browns lost last week, I think they're going to come out and take care of business. So I'm taking the Browns -12.5.
That shocked me, honestly. I didn't think you were gonna go against that big of a spread.
I didn't either.
Honestly, I battled a little bit with this one. Texas came out and actually looked pretty good. You made me a believer of Tyrod Taylor over there. But I did not think they were going to beat Jacksonville the way they did. So I think the Browns win this game. I think everyone does. But I have Texans covering the 12.5. I think that's just a little bit too much. And it's so funny. You'll hear my score and you're going to be like, you barely have them covering. So I have Texans covering 24-35. I think the Browns are in a little bit of a revenge game. I think they'll do awesome, but I don't know, 12.5 points.
It's a lot.
It's
a
lot. A little bit too much. And especially the way they surprised me last week. I don't want to. I'll give them a little bit of respect until they don't have it, if that makes any sense. So I got Texans covering +12.5, 24-35. All right. So next we have. Oh, actually, do you want to do this is your team?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. So the Bills are on the road at Miami. It's going to be a hot, humid game in South Florida. The Bills are coming off a loss to the Steelers, which there you go. That man right there on the T-shirt had a heck of a game, that's for sure.
Yes, he did.
It was kind of game time decision if he's going to play or not, and boy, did he play. Yeah, the Steelers defense looked awesome. Actually, I think the Bills defense both defenses looked really good, and it came down to a special teams play that the Steelers ended up winning by a touchdown. And but yeah, so I think the Bills got a bit of a wake-up call last week. And I think they're going to be okay, though. I don't think anyone on that team's pushing the panic button yet. I think they're led by a really smart coaching staff, and I think they're going to have them ready to play, and they're going to get themselves ready and take it to the Dolphins this weekend. I have the Bills covering -3.5. Bills 26, Dolphins 18.
Yeah, when I saw this, I was a little surprised. Maybe they're giving the Dolphins more credit just because they're at home and the Bills like colder weather. But at the same time, I'm like, it's the Bills. They're coming off a loss. 3.5 points doesn't seem too much for that like Josh Allen offense. So yeah, I agree with you. 3.5 points is just too little in my opinion. So I got the Bills winning 27-16. I'll be shocked if we're wrong on this one. So next, I have Patriots at Jets. Patriots minus 5.5 right now. I think the Jets did a lot better than everyone expected last week, especially against the Panthers. But with that being said, Patriots usually don't lose two in a row. So I'm gonna kind of hop on that Mac Jones train and go with Patriots covering the minus 5.5. I have them winning 24-13. I think that Patriots defense is going to be really sophisticated and just get it done versus the Jets.
I agree with you, and I have a really similar score. I think the Jets, they just don't have it together yet. And so until kind of proven otherwise, like you said earlier, I'm taking the Patriots in that matchup all day. So I have Patriots 24, Jets 17, Patriots by a touchdown, and New England minus 5.5.
Okay.
49ers at the Eagles. So I think the Eagles it wasn't a shock that they won last week, but I think it was one of the surprises of the weekend of how absolutely dominant they were.
It looked impressive.
And Jalen Hurts looked good. So that was kind of a big question mark coming into the season. And it still is. It's, it's one game, but I got to give him credit there. But San Francisco is a 3.5-point favorite, which I don't think was really all that much considering the points that the 49ers were able to put up. But again, it's like it was against the Lions. It's kind of weird. Week 1 is so weird, and it's kind of still too early to like really know where people are falling. But that being said, I think the 49ers take this one. I think they're just the overall better team. And I have 49ers 33, Eagles 20. So I'm taking San Francisco minus 3.5.
Dang, that's kind of a spread there. The Eagles did shock me. I thought they were overwhelmingly good versus the Falcons. The 49ers kind of like lost a little bit towards the end, but they were up so much it really didn't matter, So I have the 49ers winning and I have the 49ers covering minus 3.5. I have a little bit of a closer game. I think that's just because the Eagles surprised me last week, and I wouldn't be surprised if they surprised me again this week. So I got the 49ers winning and covering, 49ers 27, Eagles 23. All right. So next, we go down to the Raiders at Pittsburgh. Right now, Pittsburgh is favored minus 5.5. I struggled a lot with this game. I did what your technique, what you taught me. Put the score down before you actually take a look at the line.
Hey, I lost last year, so don't listen to me.
Yeah, maybe. But I think this is one of those games that definitely warranted that. I think Pittsburgh's defense is looking tremendous, almost scary. Like Mark Ingram. I mean, not Mark Ingram, but is it Mark? No. With Ingram on the other opposite side of TJ Watt. But that Raiders, I don't know, man. They surprised me against
Melvin Ingram.
Melvin Ingram.
That's right. Number 8. It's like, who's that guy?
Yeah, first two, I was like, this guy almost looks like a college player.
Yeah,
long and lengthy and.
Like, is that guy a cornerback? Because he looks like he's 300 pounds.
Yeah,
destroying people.
Yeah, but the Raiders had a decent challenge in the Ravens, minus all their injuries. But I went ahead and gave the Raiders plus 5.5. So I have the Pittsburgh Steelers winning 21-17. Raiders cover plus 5.5.
I have the Steelers winning 21-16. And I agree with everything you said. I think that the defense is going to be swarming and dominant against the Raiders, and I don't think they're going to be able to score more than 16 points. I think they'll be right around there. But the Steelers' offense isn't exactly explosive. Now, they really struggled to get Najee Harris. I like him. You can tell he runs hard. You know what I mean? Like Najee Harris last week had 16 carries for 45 yards. He actually averaged under 3 yards a carry. So he struggled to get going. But I think they're going to lean on him and be able to grind this one out. But I don't think they're going to be able. I think the Steelers are going to be they're going to be in every single game this year because they're a good team, they're a good coach team, and they're going to have a good defense. But I don't think they're going to have the offense to just get away from people every game.
We have a brand new.
Yeah, I'm taking Raiders plus 5.5, but I think the Steelers win.
Yep. Alrighty. Next.
All right, Saints at Panthers. So Jameis Winston,
Yes.
just
Jesus.
put him in the Hall of Fame right now, okay? Like, what are we waiting for? I'm just kidding. But dude, I mean, good for him, man. Like, he came out and he did awesome. And the Packers got their butts kicked so bad that literally Jordan Love got put in the game last week. Like, that's where they were at. So, well, I hit the highlights by accident. But I think the Saints are going to keep it rolling. The Panthers, I think they're getting right on track, and I think they're going to be a better team. And I don't know. I liked what we saw out of the Panthers last weekend, but again, they beat the Jets. So I think the Saints take this one. Saints 31, Panthers 23, Saints minus 3.5.
Okay. Yeah. Jameis did a lot better than I think anyone kind of expected him to, and definitely hurt Green Bay. And I think that was, probably the upset of the week last week. But I agree with you, man. I think the Saints are looking good, and until proven otherwise, I'm gonna roll with them. You made me a believer that Jameis trained, so I got New Orleans also covering minus 3.5. Saints win 28. A little bit closer game for me. Panthers 24. Um, but that's just me. I just like to keep close games for some reason. I'm a hopeless romantic. I want good football games.
You want every game to go down to the wire.
Yeah, basically. All right. So next, I have Broncos at the Jaguars. Right now, Broncos are favored -6. I think there's a lot of rumors going around right now with what's his name, the Jags coach,
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer, about wanting to go back to college, and USC firing their head coach, and there's a lot of talks, a lot of rumors. I think he looked kind of lost in his first game last week, and with that being said, I kind of really want to take that Broncos defense too, -6. So I have the Broncos 28-14. I think that Broncos defense is going to be a little bit too much for them over there in Jacksonville, and I'm not sure if they're going to have any answers for them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Broncos are overall the better team. And I grabbed my phone for my fun stat of the week because I was saying it all last year, but I'm gonna keep reiterating it. Teddy Bridgewater is like the ultimate guy against the spread quarterback. Like if you just for the last 50 games that he's been in, if you just put money on Teddy Bridgewater against the spread, you'd be so rich. He is 36-14-1
Jesus.
in his career.
Jesus.
36-14-1. That doesn't mean he won all those games, but against the spread, that's his record. He's absolute money. So the Broncos are -6. I think I have them winning by a touchdown. Broncos 24, Jaguars 17.
Okay.
All right, Vikings at Cardinals. So the Cardinals looked awesome. And what excites me about the Cardinals, not only, Kyler Murray, who I've been critical of on this here podcast.
Looked like a Madden game out there.
Yeah. He had 5 touchdowns. He had 289 yards passing. He added a rushing touchdown because he had 4 throwing passing touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins looked amazing. They had it absolutely rolling. But the most exciting thing about the Cardinals might be their defense. Yeah. I mean, listen to this. Ryan Tannehill had 35 pass attempts, and he only threw for a little over 200 yards. So they kept everything completely in check down there in the passing game. Derrick Henry had 17 rush attempts for 58 yards. So, maybe, one of the best running backs in the entire league right now, and he was just completely kept in check. And then on top of that, trying to pull up the stats, Chandler Jones
5 sacks.
Had 5 sacks.
2 forced fumbles.
And they had another sack on top of that. They had 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, an interception. I mean, the defense was awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chandler Jones, Syracuse alum. My favorite call.
It's scary. You got J.J. Watt coming off one edge and then Chandler Jones off the other, and you're stuck. You don't really know who to double team or who to give help with. And I think that was the other thing too. They weren't giving help on Chandler Jones, no chips, no nothing, and just kind of letting him run wild. And he
And
made him
boy,
pay.
did he.
Yes.
So I like the the Cardinals to keep this one rolling. Cardinals are 4.5-point favorites, and I have them winning by 8. Cardinals 31, Vikings 23.
I don't know how that Vikings have an electric offense. Don't get me wrong, but that defense until further notice is kind of too dominant for them to be scored more than 20 points on it, in my opinion. So I got the Cardinals also covering -4.5, and a little bit of wider margin. I have Vikings 17, Cardinals 30.
Hmm.
The Cardinals team looks great, and I'll ride them till the wheels fall off right now at this point.
Yeah.
All right. So next, I have the Falcons at the Buccaneers. Right now, Tampa Bay is favored -12.5. Falcons looked terrible last week, in my opinion, and I think in just about everyone else's opinion, or maybe the Eagles are just that great. But they only scored 3 points last week, and it's not going to get any easier versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, defending champs. So I I know we hate really large spreads, but I think if they can get beat that convincingly by the Eagles, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should have no problem. So I'm going to take the Bucks -12.5. I have them winning 10-30. Bucks cover.
Dude, we have a ton of almost we haven't done it yet, but we have a ton of almost identical scores this week. So I complained for like 2 minutes about how I don't like taking big lines, and I'm taking my second consecutive 12.5-point spread this week. I don't see any other way around it.
No.
Buccaneers by 3 touchdowns. With everything you said, I have the Bucks 31, Falcons 10.
Oh, there you go. That's close enough.
Close enough. All right, Cowboys at Chargers. So now this is a really interesting game. This is a
Yes.
really interesting game. The Chargers were able to go on the road in their first game of the year and get it done against the Washington football team.
Very good Washington football team.
A good defense, especially. And they got it done. And then the Cowboys came out on last Thursday, the first game of the season, and they ended up losing, but Dak Prescott and the offense was like absolutely rolling.
It was a nail biter.
And the Cowboys are being given 3 points here, which it's tough to argue, but I think if you had to bet the game, that would also be appealing because I actually I think it's going to be a really good game. I have the Cowboys winning outright by a point. So I'm taking the Cowboys +3, and I have Cowboys 28, Chargers 27.
Yeah, we're kind of on a similar page there. I think the Cowboys should and need to set the tone early for the season. I think losing 2 games in a row would kind of be devastating to them. Chargers are a very, very good team, but the Cowboys also looked very good last week. So I'm also going to take Dallas plus the 3 points, and I actually have Dallas winning outright 27-24. It can come down, be 24-24 with a minute and 10 seconds left, and Cowboys kick the game-winning field goal.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those games.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the end. 2 very good teams, but I can't see the Cowboys starting off 0-2 here. So I'll take the Cowboys +3, 27-24. So next, this in theory should be a really good game. We should see, but I'm talking about the Titans at Seattle. Right now, Seattle is favored -5.5. I think the Titans really struggled last week, and I'm not sure if that can happen like 2 weeks in a row. But with that being said, Seattle just looked dominant over a very good Colts team last week too. So I was kind of up in the air about this. 5.5 points. It's kind of a big spread. But I think Seattle's that team right now. So I have them winning 27-20, covering -5.5.
Yeah, I was kind of up in the air too, and you mentioned it was kind of a big spread for this game, and I think it was just big enough for me to take the underdog. I think the Seahawks actually pull this one out again, especially at home. They play really well there, and Russell Wilson just looked sharp last week. So I actually have the Seahawks winning 26-23, but I'm taking the Titans +5.5. That's another team that imagine the Titans starting 0-2. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have guessed that, but here we are.
Yeah, but
It's on the
also
table.
I can see Seattle starting off 2-0. So
Exactly.
yeah, I don't know.
I
That's a
agree.
tough one, but yeah, I think Seattle looked ridiculously good. So I'm rolling with them.
All right. Chiefs on the road at the Ravens. So this could be like game of the week situation. The Ravens came off a crazy game on Monday night. Lamar Jackson, he actually it's not his fault, but it's kind of his fault they ended up losing because he lost 2 fumbles. And he put that on himself. He knew it. This isn't breaking news. But he also just looked absolutely electric, man. He is like so fun to watch. He's such an exciting player. He's so good. He's a good passer, and then he can just take off at any moment and just make people like miss like crazy. So I wouldn't have had the Ravens starting off 0-2, but I think the Chiefs just have the firepower to get it done. The Baltimore defense showed kind of like a chink in the armor against the Raiders offense, and they gave up 27 regulation points against the Raiders, who are nowhere. They're not in the same universe as the offense of the Chiefs. So the Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites, and even though I like the Ravens overall as a team, I have them winning by a touchdown. So I have Chiefs 28, Ravens 21, and I'm taking the Chiefs minus 3.5.
I also have the Chiefs minus 3.5, and I don't think it's going to be as close. I think the Ravens are really hurting on offense right now. I think they haven't found out, what they're doing. They basically have Lamar, running back, quarterback, tight end, everything until further notice. I know Andrews didn't do too much last week either, which was a surprise, but I just I don't know, man. I think that Kansas City team is just going to be too much for them. I have them winning in kind of a blowout, Chiefs 38, Ravens 24. But then again, that could just be because I hate the Ravens and
That could be that. You
but
go into every Ravens game with them like losing 10 points. So
yeah, something like that. But I mean, that Chiefs team can definitely do it. So Chiefs cover minus 3.5, 38-24. Lock it in right now. All right. So next we have the Monday night game. Oh man, I don't want to say this is gonna be a bad game, but it might not be too electric. I'm talking about Lions at Packers. Right now, Lions have a huge point spread at plus 11. We talked about it a lot already. Those big point spreads are the ones that will get you every now and then. Um, Packers looked bad last week. I can't see them looking bad 2 weeks in a row. But with that being said, 11 points to a decent Lions team that put up decent points against the 49ers. I'm going to take the Lions plus 11. Just because 11 points, that's a lot. So I got the Lions 24, Packers 33. Oh, yeah, Carlos, it's only, 9 points or something, but still, I, I hate those too big of a point spread, especially because the Packers didn't show me too much last week. But I can't see them starting on too. So give me the Lions plus 11.
I agree. I'm taking the Lions plus 11 too, and it's less confidence in the Lions, and it's not that I have confidence in the Lions, it's that I don't have
Wow.
confidence in the Packers to win the game by 12. They looked bad. Now, I don't think they're going to be that bad all year. I think they'll get it going, but I don't know if they will either. I mean, that was an absolute beatdown last week, so I think they'll win. Playing the Lions in the NFC North is kind of like a get right game for the Packers. They usually beat them twice a year and can kind of figure things out. I think they win this game, but I have them winning by a touchdown. Packers 26, Lions 19, but I'm taking Lions plus 11. I can't take 3 double-digit point
Point
spreads in a
spread?
week. There's
Yeah.
no way. There's no way. I can't believe I took 2.
Yeah. I'm against it twice. I think so.
All
We'll
right,
see.
so let's do our locks of the week here.
So I'll go first
You go
because
first. You're beating me in the standings, and Rios isn't here, so he gets to go last.
exactly. So for my lock, I have your team in a bounce back game. I have the Bills at minus 3.5 against Miami. I Bills aren't losing, and they'll win by more than 4. Easy as that.
Lock it
Cut,
in.
dry, simple, and that's where I'll leave you.
So for my lock, I actually had bigger, like, point spread. Like, how am I trying to say this? There's other games I think that they will win by more than their point spread than my lock of the week. Like, for example, I teetered back and forth between taking the 49ers because I actually predicted them to win by 13 and they're only 3.5 point favorites. However, I'm taking Arizona minus 4.5. I have them winning by 8. And like I said, I just think that offense absolutely keeps it rolling and they're going to be able to outscore the Vikings. And that defense is going to keep them held down enough that they'll win by at least a touchdown. So I'm taking the Cardinals, the Arizona Cardinals, minus 4.5.
It's also a very good pick. All right.
Rio's text in here a quick update. He says, I went 10-6, by the way, if you guys are recapping. So he wanted to text it just at least to make sure all the viewers know that he is currently winning the league, and he'll be back hopefully next week to let us all know about that. But we'll post his picks on the Twitter so we make sure we have them.
Yeah, he's winning, but not by much. So
not by much. It's early. Hey, none of us have a losing record yet.
Nope, not yet. So.
I just need to. I need to start hitting locks. Like, I'm so bad at them.
Yeah. Yep. Well, hopefully this week will turn around for you.
Yep. I think it will. I'm confident it will. Feeling good.
All righty. So I think that concludes this week's episode. Thank you guys if you stuck around this long. We really appreciate it. Give us a big old thumbs up. However this thing works, we don't care. We just do it for fun. But
yeah,
if you're listening and watching, why not?
Exactly. All right, guys. Thanks, and we'll see you next week for our picks for week 3.